It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look at the 5 and 10, it's glistening once again with candy canes and silver lanes that glow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, toys in every store. But the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door. A pair of hop-along boots and a pistol that shoots is the wish of Barney and Ben. Dolls that'll talk and will go for a walk is the hope of Janice and Jen. And Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. There's a tree in the Grand Hotel, one in the park as well. It's the sturdy kind that doesn't mind the snow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Soon the bells will start, and the thing that'll make them ring is the carol that you sing right within your heart. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, toys in every store. But the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door. Sure, it's Christmas once more.
Welcome. We're back. Charting, planning, you know what I'm saying, being proactive, getting ready for the new week. The vaccine news over the weekend with Pfizer getting approved for emergency authorization by the FDA. So the vaccine is starting to roll out, and obviously that's being reflected in the futures currently. Futures on the S&P are up like 0.5%, which is pretty good. And yeah, we're back. What's up, Tyler, Alex, Guy in Hat, Trademan, Avery, Anthony, Caption, everybody here. Hit that like button if you support the free analysis, and if you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. But yeah, Christmas themed stream until Christmas happens. Just vibing, getting ready for the new week. Currently, we're looking at last week's trades. Best performing week to date. So yeah, the trades were crazy. Between all of these neon green ones were confirmed profits, and then these ones right here are still ongoing. And then HYLN and Fisker took some hits on those, but that's just how it goes. You know what I'm saying? You got to rack up the profits, and then of course you can't hit them all. But yeah, we're going to be talking about HYLN and Fisker. Let's get right into the analysis, I guess. We need 6 more people to get 20 likes on the stream, so hit that like button if you have not already. And let's get to the charting. Before we go into Fisker or anything else, we're going to be revealing a new trade setup on stream. This is something that was recommended to me on Twitter. Shout out to the person, you know who you are. But yeah, this is NLS. We've looked over it on stream for like over a month now. We've just been watching it, and been showing the supports. It broke under but now it's really starting to form something, which is why this is the first new trade setup going into the week. So not going to be posting as many trade setups this week simply because my finals, so it's going to be a little bit busy with that. But after this week, I have a month off from college, so I'm going to be streaming every single day, probably even going to be doing day streams. Thank you TDAB11 for the subscription. But yeah, let me just fix up the music. We got a few things I need to work on. But yeah, after this week, I'm literally going to be taking this whole entire thing full time, so it's going to be great. Just this week is going to be a little bit hectic, so only going to be streaming tonight, tomorrow night, and what is it, Thursday night? Yeah, so I'm not going to be able to stream on Tuesday and Wednesday night this week. And we're making the stream time earlier. So we're going to be streaming, at 9 Eastern now, whenever I do stream. And after this week, like I just said, I'm going to be streaming like crazy. Like, there's going to be days where I stream in the day and then I stream at night. So we're in for a good month after this week. But yeah, this is the new trade setup, NLS. I'm just trying to make sure, my audio is good and stuff like that. It looks better. Alex says, I was thinking you should put dates on your Excel sheet, entry date, etc. I mean, I can. The thing is, it's just subjective, right? Because trades change very frequently. So, the timestamps are really whenever I post it on Twitter. You could just look up the ticker and then my name after it, and you could see whenever I did post it. But, some trades take longer than others. And then at the same time, sometimes trades have different entry points, right? So it's just really hard to make it like super specific, but everything that is on that sheet I've talked about on stream or I posted on Twitter. Alright, I think the volume should be good now. If anything sounds off, let me know in the chat, but I think the music's fine. I think my mic is fine. Messed around with it a little bit. Looks better to me now in terms of like the decibel levels. But yeah, this is NLS. Kind of like a falling wedge. It's not really a falling wedge. You don't have 5 touches or anything. I just wanted to chart the demand line and the supply line, or your support and resistance. But the real story here is you're at a support level, which is $16. It was your resistance from August 11th. I guess if you want to be more exact, we could lower it to like 1591, all right? So 1591 is really where you topped out, right here and right here. And then once you broke it, you had a crazy run up. You even back tested it as support on September 25th, and then began your run up, right? So now you've come all the way back down to that level, which would mean probably gonna have to fix this again. I want to make sure it's like as accurate as possible. So let's say you enter right there, like 1590 or something, if you get that opportunity. And then the target, I just charted like the 50% retrace of the falling wedge, which is just like the textbook way to chart that. Again, the entry, the stop loss, and the take profit levels are pretty subjective. It just depends on your risk tolerance. But that's just like how I'm looking at it, where you have a 5 reward to risk right here if you enter at 1591. I don't know if it's going to get to 1591, so there might have to be some compromising to enter a trade like this. But you're around that support level at 1591, and you have classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour MACD and RSI, which is developing. So if we also take a look at the 1 hour, you have classic bullish divergence. So this is more of a shorter term trade. Most of the trades I put out are like long term, but a lot of them have just been playing out within a few days. This one is more of a shorter term trade. Anywhere between a couple days to like a week or two. Shouldn't take longer than like 2 weeks or something. Just because you're looking at how the oscillators are developing. But yeah, that is NLS. The optimal entry would be 1591. I do not know if it's going to get to that point, so you might have to change that up. Just depends on what the market's offering you, right? That's just kind of how I would target it. Of course, if you really believe in this company long term, you could go for $20. Might take a little bit longer, and again, there's just a lot of variables that can change. But that's just the new trade setup. I wanted to show NLS looking pretty good. I like what it's doing, and it just really needs to hold 1591. If it doesn't hold 1591, my stop loss is a few percent under that. And that's just, if it fails, it fails. It has the variables, but if the demand does not come in, then that's unfortunate, right? Kind of what happened with the HYLN and Fisker last week. But it didn't happen with like the other 8 trades that played out. Just remember, risk management. But yeah, that's the new trade setup. I guess we could go into Fisker now. Not much has changed. You're just kind of back in this range. You were in this range between 1355 and 1499 for months. Whenever you fell under it, you went down to 1181, but whenever you broke over it, you went to 1821. So look, this is like your mid neutral range, right? When you fell under it for the first time, you went down to 1181. When you broke out of it for the first time, you went to 1821. Then you came back in the range. You fell under it, and then it really like dumped. That was when we had the bullish butterfly and stuff. And then just coming again, you broke over 1499, and the last time went to 24. So whichever way it breaks out of this channel, whether that be to the downside or the upside, would be telling. Anthony, thank you for the $5 donation. He says, good luck on the finals, champ. Really appreciate it. I am probably going to need the luck. Been spending a lot of time trading and stuff when I should have been studying, but that's just how it is. So yeah, Fisker is just kind of back in this range, which if it breaks 1499, bullish. If it falls under 1355, bearish. That's super simple. I know there was the Forbes article that came out over the weekend. Maybe that could help. But then the other thing here, which I've seen some other people on Twitter talking about as well, been showing this for a couple of days, is that there isn't like an actual support at 1455, but you have Fibonacci support. So if we take a look, we zoom in, right? If you use the swing low from December 2nd to the swing high of December 3rd, when you went from like 1599 to 1821, right? If you chart that on Fibonacci, you're currently at your 1618, which is your golden ratio. If you've been in the stream for a while, you know what Fibonacci is. You know how I used it to predict Fubo, Neo, Palantir, and a bunch of others, LCA as well. So just trying to do it here, but again, Fibonacci is, you know, typically not something to be using alone. You want to use it alongside like a pattern, divergence, and stuff like that. But of course, you know, I showed 1455 on Friday. No, on Thursday I showed 1455, and then on Friday it was finding support at 1455 pretty much all day. So you're at the 1618 in terms of that short-term rally. But if we go to the daily, you're at the 618. Which from the lowest point, which was like 880 or something, to the highest point, which was almost $24. If you chart your Fibonacci, you get the 618 retrace, which is like the golden retrace, the most common one to see price reversals. So you're at your short-term golden ratio and you're at your long-term golden ratio at the same time, which is pretty cool. Haven't seen that like ever on a chart, so just nice how that lines up. And then you saw how that level was respected on Friday, so you're just looking for 1455 to hold. Otherwise the next support is 1355. No divergence on the daily or anything. Let me just take this off my chart. Yeah, that's Fisker. And then there's one more thing which kind of developed throughout the day on Friday. If we zoom in all the way to the 1 hour, and again, the 1 hour is not the most reliable time frame, especially for swing traders. It's more reliable if you're day trading. But if we're just looking at the 1 hour, you have classic bullish divergence developing on the 1 hour chart, which means from here to here you made a lower low on price, right? From this point right here to here, lower low, but you made a higher low on your MACD. And if that crosses over to green, it will be confirmed 1 hour classic bullish divergence. Another thing you have on the 1 hour is obviously the 1455 support we just went over, but you have what's known as a tweezer bottom, which means for 2 consecutive candles, you bottomed out at about the same price, and you have a full red candle body here and a full green candle. So that means on this candle, you opened high and then closed really low. But then on the next candle, you recovered that whole entire previous candle body with a bullish engulfing candle, which means you opened at the same price and then you closed even higher. So it was like, if you really zoom in, a tweezer bottom is just like a V-shaped recovery in terms of like a very low time frame. So, you know, you went down, but then you immediately recovered that. So that is your tweezer bottom. Again, it's the 1 hour, and you have the divergence. So that is Fisker. Those are your levels to look at. Kind of just back in this neutral range, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. If we go take a look at the futures really fast, they gapped up, about up half a percent on the S&P 500, which is great. Typically gaps do get filled on the S&P 500 futures, so you would think that that would fill at some point, don't know when. But yeah, you're just back in the heart line of this upsloping channel, which means like that middle dashed yellow line. And again, I warned about the I literally called last week's fall, because if you were not here last week but the week before last week, I showed you how futures were at the top of this channel. I showed you how at the time the S&P had 4-hour classic bearish divergence. I was showing all of that right when the S&P was about to fall. And then I also showed you how on the VIX, the volatility index, you were at a major support of 20, which was your same low in September before September fall. So last week's drop in the stock market was not surprising if you've been in the stream and if you've been following me on Twitter. But now you're seeing with the vaccine news, things are starting to, at least for now, things are starting to move back up. But again, there's nothing like major. So again, there's not a huge edge. There's no real bullish indicators on the technicals. It's just more people reacting to the vaccine news. So we'll see if that continues to occur tomorrow. But again, just, be cautiously optimistic, right? You have the vaccine news, you're starting to pivot and go back up again, but you don't want to hit the pedal to the floor. You still take some caution because you never know, the year's about to end. Christmas is coming up soon. And technically on the S&P 500, you still have 4-hour bearish divergence. So again, it looks good, at this minute, if we're looking at the futures, and tomorrow might be a great day, but don't go all in on margin with, all of your money and options and stuff. And that's not financial advice, of course. You could see a nice market rally with the vaccine news. I'm just saying, it's nice to see the things going back up, but, don't forget what happened last week, right? You could see volatility ahead, especially looking at the VIX, but for right now, things look okay. So remember, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't need to know what's going to happen. You just need to be able to react. And that is Fisker and the stock market. I think that was a good way to start off the stream. Just give my thoughts on stuff. I don't like how that beat is redlining my computer. Alright, so let's look at the chat. We got 60 people in here. We need 4 more people to hit the like button, 430 likes. So hit that like button if you have not already. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button if you support the free analysis every single weeknight, except for this week because I have finals. But after this week, like I said earlier, for the next month I don't have school, so I'm going to be taking this thing full time. Going to be doing day streams and night streams on some days, streaming every single day. That's right, I'm going to be streaming every single day. So the analysis is about to get crazy, and of course, if you're not following me on Twitter, definitely should be. That's where I post the live updates and my trade setups and stuff like that. Thank you guys for 33 likes. We could take a look at Tattooed Chef. We got a few requests in here. IPOC. Yeah, we'll take a look at most of this stuff. And if you guys want to send me a tip, it is the pinned comment in the chat. So first off, Tattooed Chef, right here. This was a trade setup, and it was a falling wedge. You had bullish divergence on the 4-hour and the daily. It was a perfect trade. You made 17% if you took the trade with me. I made 50% on this because I had call options. And then, the news came out about something's happening this week. I don't remember exactly what it was. Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe somebody helped me out in the chat, but there is something happening, like a catalyst for Tattooed Chef. And then they had a great close on Friday. It broke the $18 resistance. And what I said on Thursday night was, if you can break $18 for real, aside from the trade setup, if you get back above 18, your next resistance is $20. That's just the easiest way to put it. If you take a look, you broke 17.94. There is no resistance until 20. There's a lot of gray area right here. Just a straight line up, straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. I literally told you on Thursday, yes, $18 was our target. And at first, once it hit 18, it actually pulled back all the way to 16.90. So you could have even got back in at a lower price and then played it again if you wanted to. But yeah, I'm not going to say that this run is over just because the target was hit. Profit is always profit. And it hit the target and then pulled back, so you could have re-entered. But again, break 18 and you really hold it, maybe you back test as support or you just don't fall back under it. Your next resistance is $20. That's been on my chart for the last 3 weeks. Nothing new there. And Print says Investor Day is on the 15th, so probably will announce new products. Yeah. So yeah, they have a lot of catalysts going on. I think they announced that they're getting into plant-based food or something like that. I'm not too sure, but of course, that's Tattooed Chef. Great trade, perfect trade. Other than that, a few people want to look at IPOC. All right. Looking at the daily, there's not much that's changed. Again, I know I've been showing IPOC for like pretty much a week now. The first time we went over it was last Sunday night. Somebody requested it. You had the rounding bottom, which we talked about, and again, you just want to hold $11. If you ever fall back under 11, take caution, because then your next support is like 10.40. So you just want to keep on holding above 11, and it's just really trying to break 11.37. It's broken it, but then it fell back down, broken it. So I'm not too sure. There's just like, again, could the price go up? Yes. Could the price go down? Yes. But there's not a major edge currently in terms of purely technical analysis that is implying either. There's no pattern here. There's no divergence. There's not any major, signal candles. It could go either way, truly. So if it goes up, it goes up. If it goes down, it goes down. And again, as long as you know your levels on the chart, it doesn't matter what happens. All you need to do is react. Back test $11 and it holds it, great. Falls under 11, take caution. Let's say it breaks $12, then these are your next targets. So there's not much of an edge, but of course it'll either go up or down, and whatever it does, you have levels to look at. So again, if there was something major for me to be talking about, I just don't see anything much on the chart currently. But that is IPOC. What else we got in the chat? We could take a look at PIC, XL Fleet. I think their merger vote is not this week, but the week after this week, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how I feel about this song. I just hate how like the bass drops like that. I'm trying here. Alright, that sounds better. PIC. Crazy stuff with the rounding bottom. The trade I put out on it made 42%. It hit the golden ratio, the 1618, and it reversed there. This is why we use Fibonacci. Hit the 1618, went a little bit higher, and then pulled back. But now I think on Friday it was using 1585 as support, which was just your previous all-time high. So again, there's not much of a current edge, except you actually have confirmed classic bearish divergence on the 4-hour, which means you've been going up in price, but your MACD and your RSI have been going down, which is a bearish signal on the 4-hour. The only thing is, like, if the market is just super bullish tomorrow, and just based on the fact that it's in a very nice uptrend and it's still making higher lows, the classic bearish divergence might underperform, if the market is just uber bullish tomorrow. But the classic bearish divergence is there. So just keep that in mind. And then, your short-term supports are 1585 and 1471. You want to hold above 1471 for sure. And then your real resistance would just be going for a new all-time high. So your real resistance would just be like 1834. You break 1834, and then currently your 2618 is $21, but you'd probably have to redo your Fibonacci at that point. So let's say I were to redo my Fibonacci, this would be your swing high, and then assuming it pivots, which again, I don't want to assume anything. I'm never going to assume. If it does, I'm just saying, if it does, have a great day tomorrow. Your new 1618 would be $20, and your 2618 would be $23. That's just if it breaks out of $18. That's all I'm saying, just so you can know ahead of time. But for right now, I'm going to keep it how I did before. If you do reach a new all-time high, I'll change up the Fibonacci on my chart. But until then, I'm just going to leave it as is. That's just kind of how I, prefer to use Fibonacci. But yeah, that is PIC. Keep hitting that like button. Thank you very much for 40 likes. If you're not subscribed already, you definitely should be. Just free analysis every single weeknight. And if you want to send me a tip, it's the pinned comment in the chat, and it's the first link in the description. The tip page is fully functioning now after a few weird days last week. Harry says, what's up? Hope you had a good weekend. I did. Not sure if you looked at Pfizer. I have some calls. Alright, yeah, we could take a look at Pfizer. I don't know if the technicals really matter on Pfizer right now, but again, a lot of the time you don't use technicals to know if the price is going to go up or down, because the technicals will never give you 100% probability. The highest probability technicals could give you is like 80%, right? Thank you, Sharon, for the $3 donation. I will take a look at FUTU. For the newer people in here, any tip $3 or higher, I will take a look at your ticker as soon as possible, just as like a thank you for, you know, the donation. So I will take a look at that in a second. But I'll go to Pfizer after the request. But again, you know, technicals sometimes don't tell you for sure if the price is going to go up or down. They just give you probability. But what technicals do help you with all of the time is allowing you to realize, why is that so loud? Technicals allow you to realize how high or how low the price can go, because you're using supports and resistance. So they might not tell you if the price is going to go up or down all the time, but what they can do is tell you, if you have a great day, this could be the area where you top out of or top out at because you got a previous resistance there, or vice versa, right? That's just like a little talk on technicals. You don't need to know where the price is going, but you know, whatever the price does do, you can use the technicals to find good buying and selling or adding areas to your position. So yeah, we're gonna take a look at the request, and then we will go to Pfizer after that. FUTU. It's interesting for sure. Not much in this range. Had a really crazy run this year. Yeah, I mean, that's just like an insane run. So I'm just going to start off with charting support and resistance levels. I really need to find a new playlist because the amount of times I've been skipping songs right here is crazy. I don't know what's up with this playlist, but that sounds better. So very big support at $40. That was pretty much your high from August 5th, and it was your low from December 7th. So you have support at $40.51. If that breaks, your next support would just be 33. So you do not want to fall under $40 on this. If we zoom in a little bit more, you had hidden bullish divergence, but super weird. You confirmed it and then it went right back down to red. So after you confirm hidden bullish divergence, you need to see follow through on your MACD. You did not get follow through. You actually crossed over on your MACD and then you crossed back over to red. So not too sure how I feel about that. I don't see much of a pattern on the 4-hour. Let's take a look at the daily. Again, you could develop hidden bullish divergence, but you need your MACD to switch over to green to confirm it. And currently it's just not. So kind of what you did is you made a new all-time high and then you just back tested your previous resistance. You back tested that as support. So this one is like super simple in my opinion. You just want to hold $40. If you hold $40, you're looking for just a retest of an all-time high next. So if you hold $40, 51 is like the next major resistance. But I don't know, this kind of looks like a bear flag to me, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's not perfect or anything, but this just kind of looks like a bear flag, where you made a run down and then you have like this upsloping flag, kind of something like that. It's just like there's not much of a pattern there, so I don't know, just not a major edge, and it already had a crazy run up. Another like short-term resistance could be 46.76. You topped out there on November 27th and December 8th. So those are your levels to look at. There isn't any divergence currently, and there isn't much of a pattern aside from like maybe a bear flag. So you just, no matter what, you want to hold $40.51. You do not want to fall under 40.51. But that is FUTU. Thank you again for the $3 donation. Brock, I do not put my Venmo in the stream chat just for personal, for privacy reasons. But if you really want to send me a tip, you could DM me on Twitter and I could give you my Venmo there. My Twitter is just @championvibe. It's over there in the bottom left of your screen. @championvibe. Appreciate the kind gesture. And then we're gonna take a look at Pfizer. The vaccine approval from the FDA. And I have a lot of levels charted on Pfizer. I kind of just charted out every single resistance and support, I guess. So I'm just going to delete that. I'm going to delete this. Actually, I'll probably keep that. So I literally charted out every single support resistance level on Pfizer. Okay, can we not do that? All right, let's take a look at the daily. These are all your levels on Pfizer based off of past data. So your catalyst is obviously the FDA approval, and that could send the price higher. But again, you can use the technical analysis to tell you how high or how low the price will go. So I don't know if it's going to be, you know, a lot of hype around buying Pfizer because of their approval, or if it's going to be like a sell the news situation because, you know, the Pfizer news is nothing new. It's been, you know, this has been ongoing for like a month now. And obviously, if it was already priced in, that's kind of telling. You just went from $32 to $43, so it could be argued that it was already priced in. So I'm not sure how, you know, the market's going to react to the news tomorrow. Could see either way, either just buy or hype or sell the news. But here's your levels. If you do have a good day tomorrow, your resistances are 42.26, which is your high from like the end of June. And then after that, it's just a new all-time high, which would be $44. You break $44, and who knows where Pfizer could go to next. And that's not out of the ballpark, you know what I'm saying? It's possible. It really is possible. Only, like, it's literally less than 10% away. So you break 44. Honestly, if you just, like, if I'm just giving you, like, my pure opinion, if $44 is broken, you're probably going to see $50. That's not based on anything except for psychological resistance. Because above 44, $50. A high percentage of assets that break $44, $45 do see $50 if it's like, you know, in price discovery where the asset has never been that high. That's just how psychological supports and resistances work. Nice even numbers, halfway to $150. But of course, you know, I probably would chart Fibonacci if and only if that was broken, but I guess we could chart the Fibonacci for now. From this swing high to this swing low. Wow, again, look at the 1618. Look at Fibonacci working right there. I just did this on stream, okay? Where did Pfizer top out at on December 9th? At the 1618. If you were purely using Fibonacci, like, and you just sold at the 1618, that would have been at $43 and it went down to 41. So you could have bought lower or just taken profits, right? This is Fibonacci, like, right in front of your eyes. Just look at that, right at the golden ratio, the 1618. We were talking about that on Fisker earlier. Fibonacci really does work in trading, and that is proof of it. There wasn't any resistance right there. You were just in between 42.26 and 44. There is no resistance at 43 in terms of horizontally. So 1618 is where it pulled back on December 9th. But that is Pfizer. Let's keep it going. Keep on dropping tickers in the chat. Keep on hitting that like button. We need 7 more likes to hit 50 likes. If you want to support the stream and you like the free analysis, hit that subscribe button as well. And then finally, if you want to send me a tip, it is the pinned comment in the chat and the first link in the description. Again, for the new people in here, any tip, $3 or higher, and I'll take a look at it like immediately, just as like a thank you. But yeah. Going live tonight, going to be going live tomorrow, but then on Tuesday and Wednesday I will not be live because I have finals. So we could take a look at TTNP if my computer will let me add a new ticker. Pfizer all-time high is 50. I'll take a look at that. Thank you. How old is Pfizer as a stock? Oh, okay. Looks like, yep, you are correct. Kind of, right? I don't even know if it goes further. There's no way it does, right? So yeah, you're correct. I did not even look all the way back at before I was born. So on in April of 1999, it didn't hit 50 exactly, but it hit like 47.50 or something. So that is yet another resistance from 20 years ago. So that's crazy. But yeah, thank you for dropping that in the chat. Definitely helps out the chart. And you know, I have seen charts where they do use resistances from like decades ago and they actually pull back there. So don't count it out just because it was 20 years ago, okay? But again, if you do break 44, you'd be thinking, because look how long it's taken. It's taken literally 20 years for Pfizer to get back up to this range. So you'd think that if you ever broke 44, you just still see 50. Like, I don't know. We're just gonna have to take it as it goes. Again, you don't even know if it's gonna get above 44 because it could be sell the news, but that is Pfizer. I think it was pretty important to talk about. Yeah, we will. Different exchanges will show different things. I'm just looking I'm just looking at it based on what TradingView is showing me. So yeah, that is PFE. But again, regardless, I still think it breaks 44. There's like a 70% probability 50 would be next. You just need to break that first. And currently it's not over that. TTMP, right? Not a huge fan of any chart that looks like that. I feel like the music tonight has just been off. Like, I apologize. I don't even know. I'm gonna look for another playlist just because both of the ones I've been on are just not good. I played this song in stream quite a few times before. Alright, TTMP. It's at an all-time low. Personally, I never trade anything that's at an all-time low. Just because there's no support under that, so just kind of hard to chart something like this in the first time. All it's pretty much been doing is falling. Like, I'm looking at the weekly. I mean, this thing was over $1,000 and now it's currently under 10. Like, just from a fundamental standpoint, that's horrible. Whatever happened for this to occur is terrible. That's all I can say. If we're just looking right here, and I'm on the weekly just because all it's been doing is falling. I could probably go to the daily. It's just, you know, there's not much to do here. It just depends. Can this company actually make money or not? I'm trying to scroll in there. I guess you can make hidden bullish divergence on the daily, but I don't know. It's like a 50-50. 50% it could pump just because it has pumped from $3 to $9 in November, and then 50% chance it could just keep on dumping because over the course of literally years, that's all it's done. In the macro standpoint, of course, you get the pumps every here and then, but like holding this, you know, again, not financial advice, holding this would probably just be donating your money to Titan Pharmaceutical. So I don't know. Just weird. Not much of a pattern, maybe hidden bullish divergence at some point. And I guess if you want one more support, 285. That was just your low from the beginning of November. So what else we got here? REGI looking good for a breakout. We need 3 more likes for 50 likes. If you have not hit the like already, make sure to do so if you support the free analysis. This is just in a range. Looks like there's some distribution going on over here. Yeah, this just looks like kind of like a distribution range. Had a crazy run up. And now it's just going sideways. No divergence on the 4-hour. No divergence on the daily. So completely neutral. Whichever way it breaks out to probably would be telling. You ever get above $66 and you can see higher prices. You ever fall under $54 and your next support is $49. You ever fall under $49 and things get scary, your next support under that would be like literally $40. So you're just in this range right now. Not too much other than distribution going on. You did get a MACD crossover on the daily. Kind of some bullish convergence, but not divergence. Again, divergence means, and divergence is really what you want. It just means the price and the oscillator are doing the opposite thing, but convergence just means both the price and the oscillator are doing the same thing. As you see, from here to here you made a higher low, and then from here to here you made a higher low. So like this chart is like, I don't know why I'm messing up my words right now. This chart is like as neutral as it gets. But that's REGI. We could take a look at KNDI, one of the trade setups. Hidden bullish divergence is still developing on this one. It actually went to the target. So the entry price of this was $8.17. Currently this trade is in profit. I was talking about it at 860, but I said the entry for it is 817. I never said the entry for it was there unless you really wanted to get into it at that time. And if you did, you would be down like 30 cents per share. So it hit like the actual entry of the trade, which is 817, went a little bit lower, but then closed above it at like 850. Hidden bullish divergence is looking pretty nice on the 4-hour. Really developing, getting very close to a crossover, and you hit the actual entry price. In terms of like the technicals, everything is there. Again, 817 has been a resistance for a really long time, and now it would be great to see it being used as support. Also at your 78.6% Fibonacci retrace. So you really, it has all the factors it needs. It just needs to get demand. So you want to see it open well and have a nice day. Tomorrow, you want to see it really flip your previous resistance into support. I just messed up my alarm on this. I think I'm probably gonna have to create it again. Sorry about that. But yeah, KNDI has everything it needs. But will it fail? We shall see. Not anything. I don't know what's up with my grammar right now, my vocabulary. I have finals this week, so that's not a good sign, but not everything is certain. Ever. Nothing is certain. I can't talk tonight, okay? I don't know what I'm saying. You get the point though. It has the variables, but who knows if it'll fail or if it will work out. As long as your risk is managed, you don't need to be worrying about that. You just, you put in your trade. If it works out, great, you make money. If it doesn't work out, you lose some money, and then you move on to the next one. You cannot be emotional over losses. You just need to take your loss and then find another good reward to risk ratio trade. You do that time and time and time again, your winning trades will make you much more money than you lose on your losing trades. So KNDI, high risk, high reward, long-term trade. Technicals look good, but will the market buy it? We shall see. What else we got in here? BLRX, 4 hours looking strong. Keep dropping tickers in the chat. We need one more person to like for 50 likes on the stream. If you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to send me a tip, is the pinned comment in the chat. This is BLRX. Got crushed. Support is $2.56. It was your resistance pretty much all throughout here, and not bad. You also kind of use that support right here, and then when you fell under it, you really fell. So you don't want to fall into 256, that is for sure. You do not have any divergence on the 4 hour, but you are above 256. And sure, you have confirmed hidden bullish divergence on the daily MACD. So confirmed hidden bullish divergence does imply price continuation to the upside, and you're above 256. If this can really hold 256 and it doesn't fall back under it, you could see much higher prices. You're talking like $3 next. So you break $3, 366. Just because of how much it got crushed. And this whole entire, area right here was just kind of like an accumulation range. So it looks like you're trying to break out of this accumulation range, and it might be time for BLRX to go. But again, this I know nothing about this company, so do your own research on the company. The technicals look pretty decent, and it's just straight up, straight down once you get back above 256, and it did. Your next resistance is $3. You have the hidden bullish divergence. The technicals do look pretty good on BLRX. The only thing is, is this like a value area to be buying? I mean, just about a month and a half ago, it was under $2. It was like 150-ish. Now it's $1 higher per share. So technicals do look pretty good. Yeah, that's all I can say. But do your own research on the company. Guy in Hat says, if you didn't see, KR has potential falling wedge with divergence. We could take a look at that. Some great requests from Guy in Hat over the course of the last few streams. what did you say? Falling wedge with divergence. Yep, you do have a daily classic bullish divergence. On your RSI and on your MACD. So you have daily classic bullish divergence, but you don't have anything on the 4-hour. And then in terms of a falling wedge, I don't know, kind of. No, I'm gonna say it looks more like a channel, not a falling wedge, because for a falling wedge you need the price to be contracting, but you're still pretty volatile in price. So let's try and look at it as a channel. Guess just like that. That's not great either. I'm just gonna ignore this like wick from over there. Guess if you're looking at it like this, it's just like, it's not like a really good falling wedge, and it's not like a channel either. It's just kind of like a mix of the two. Like, you know, that's your resistance and that's your support. You could look at it like a channel or a falling wedge, but you know, it's not, for a channel it's not completely parallel, and then for a falling wedge it's not like really, you know, wedge like you know, something like this, right? So it's just kind of like a crossover between a channel and a falling wedge. Let's look for support levels. Let's go to the daily. Just gonna chart a bunch of different levels I see. Let's make this orange. Kind of like that, right? Yeah. So on the daily, you do have like this down sloping consolidation area with classic bullish divergence. You're above the $30 support, and then your next resistances are just the orange lines. If you ever break out of this green line, the way you would target it would just be you pull out your Fibonacci, you go from the highest point of the pattern to the lowest point of the pattern, and your target would be the 50% retrace, which if the current low is the actual low, and that's not confirmed yet, but if that is the low, your target after breakout would be like 33 bucks. So I don't know if this really has a major you know, percentage yield, but yeah, I feel like that was some great education. It's just like you have a gap to fill as well, pretty much at like $32. There's another resistance right here on the daily. So those are all your levels. 34. It's just like, yeah, I'd probably say 34 would be your target if you broke out. Again, it's just like, you know, that's what, like a 10% move. So, and it could take a long time too. So it's pretty stable, but it's not like a, doesn't look like a high, you know, doesn't look like it's gonna have a crazy run. Just off the top of my eyes, a very stable company. Looks more of like a retirement type play or something like that. That's KR. Oh, we can take a look at ABT. Oh yeah, you were only using the candles. Yeah, I could see that. I don't think it would change it too much. Again, I mean, whenever you do break out, just use your Fibonacci and then look for the 50% and the 618 as a retrace. But Guy in Hat, great suggestions, for real. You've had a lot of great suggestions. You do have a good eye. You told me that you just recently started really getting into it, so you definitely have like the natural talent. So keep it up, and you know, you consistently do that. What you're doing right now, just look for stuff like this, and you're gonna hit a home run sooner rather than later. So keep it up. Good job. Shout out to Guy in Hat. Fisker was the first thing. No, it was the second thing I went over. The first thing I went over was just like the stock market, and then after that I went over Fisker right in the beginning of the stream. But yeah, after the stream is over, I will post all the timestamps in the comments. Take a look at what else we got in here. ABT, right here. I think Guy in Hat was the one that recommended ABT on the stream. So yeah, this is ABT, the ascending triangle. Look where it bounced off of on Friday. We talked about it on Thursday night. You have the hidden bullish divergence on the daily. It bounced off the demand line. Where's like my long, all right, right here. So it never got stopped out. It went down to 105. The stop loss that I put on my chart was $104. So it never got stopped out on Friday. It bounced off the demand line. Confirmed classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour. RSI is curling up. It looks ready to go. It looks ready for a move up to 114 in terms of technicals. But again, remember, nothing is ever certain. And then more specifically, this stock does tend to move pretty slowly. So this is definitely a long-term type play. I have some like long dated call options in ABT. And the real reason why is like, obviously the technicals look great, but it's just super, I really like when it's clear. I like when the risk management is clear. I know that I don't want to be messing with ABT if it falls under 104, because that would be completely out of the upsloping demand line of the ascending triangle. So I really like when I have a very clear area that I know I should be cutting my losses, right? So if it falls under 104, then I could cut my losses. But as long as it keeps on, creating higher lows with the divergence, it looks good for a long-term play. Just again, keep in mind that it does move pretty slowly. It took like a month for this thing to fall down like 10%. So it could take a month for this to hit the target. But we're going to see. It's still on my watch list. Not too much has changed, except it did find demand at the demand line. Yeah, good job, Guy in Hat. A lot of great plays coming out from you. If you want to take a look at the one we discussed on Twitter, Kay and Wendy's, yeah, that could definitely be good for education. You can take a look at those. Kellogg's, right? Classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour MACD and RSI. Take a look at the daily, also classic bullish divergence. So this is very similar to Tattooed Chef. You have classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour and the daily. Very similar to BigCommerce, when it had classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour and the daily. And then very similar to Overstock, when it had classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour and the daily. And for the newer people in here, the last 3 things that I just showed you were all 20% trade setups that I put out. So BigCommerce, Overstock, and Tattooed Chef all had very similar setups to what Kellogg's has. Classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour and daily. That is something I look for in most of my trades. Whenever I get something like that is when I feel really confident. Also, you're very close to the $61 support. As you can see, that was the low from September 24th and May 21st and October 28th, 2019. So you're getting divergence at a critical support. Okay. Divergence at a critical support. If we take a look here on BigCommerce, at a critical support, it was getting divergence, right? 30% trade. So Kellogg's is attempting to do the same thing as that. Again, for the 5th time, divergence at a critical support. Divergence at a critical support. I'm going to say that over and over again. That's NLS, the newest trade setup from the beginning of the stream. So Kellogg's is trying to do the same thing. I've just seen this so many times, 20, 30, 40%. And that's what you're getting here on Kellogg's. But again, don't get too ahead of yourself. Nothing is ever certain. And I have seen this setup fail. I've seen this setup not work out about 20% of the time. So you have that. There was something else to work with here. I think it was the Fibonacci. I think if we, how did I do it? I think it's from this swing low. Yep. So if we go from the swing low on November 10th to the swing high on November 17th, you're also at the 1272 Fibonacci line. So that's another thing. It was very close to a bullish Gartley harmonic pattern, but it wasn't quite there, and I'll show you how. So I was looking at it like this: X, A, B, C, D. So this is a bullish Gartley. It's a harmonic, and it was very close to it. But the thing is, your B point has to be a 618. So even if you use this swing low right here, it just doesn't work out. So it is not. It was close to it, but it's not. And yeah, that's Kellogg's out of support with divergence. Just for like the sake of charting it, I guess we could, in terms of like how to set up a trade on it. The only reason I have not put out a trade on it is because I talked to Mitch Ray about this. Again, Mitch Ray is the person that taught me like all of this. I asked him about it while he was streaming and I was in his group call, and he showed that there was a very big head and shoulders on the daily. So that's the reason, yeah, that's the reason I didn't really, or I'm not putting out a trade setup on it. While it does have the divergence and the support, you have to take caution because on the daily, which we could take a look at in a second, there's a head and shoulders. So assuming it wasn't, if there wasn't a head and shoulders, that would be how I would set it up. I'd enter pretty much at like 61.50 with my stop loss a few percent under $61. And your reward to risk will be 3, which is what you want. That's the minimum that you want. And then the target would just be this high right here. So that would be how I would set it up if it was an official trade setup. But the reason it's not an official trade setup is because I'm gonna have to go on to the daily time frame. Where is it? I'm trying to find it. I don't know how I feel about this song. That one's alright. Can't even find it right now. I guess something like this would be your head, this would be your right shoulder, this would be your left one. I don't know. But Mitch Ray, somebody who has taught me pretty much everything. You know, he really talked about it on his stream. I just can't find it right now, but you guys get the point. Especially for education. Classic bullish divergence out of support. The other one was Wendy's, wasn't it? And haven't even charted this one yet. There is some 4-hour classic bullish divergence, where from this low to this low, you made a from this low right here to this low right here, you made a lower low on a higher low on your MACD. We take a look at the daily. Also, you have RSI 4-hour classic bullish divergence. So keep that in mind. Let's take a look at the daily. You have classic bullish divergence on the daily as well. So let me just clean this up really quickly. So again, classic bullish divergence on your RSI and on your MACD on the 4-hour and on the daily. Quadruple divergence. That was exactly what we had on the overstock trade setup that made us like 20%, big commerce, a whole bunch of them. That's just something I really do look for a lot of the time. So let's just show the classic bullish divergence on the daily. You made a lower low on price with a higher low on your RSI and on your MACD. So let me take that off the hourly chart. And then that's already off. Okay, let's see if there's any like pattern here. Big support at 22. I would say more like 21.50. Like right there. Again, that's like 50 cents under you. And let's chart some resistance levels. Alright, so that is Wendy's. It is trying to, I was trying to say kind of and trying to at the same time, so I kind of messed up my words there. It's trying to double bottom at 21.41 with classic bullish divergence on the daily and 4-hour. Your resistance would be $22.87 and $24. If you could break those, like $25 could be next. Looks pretty strong if I'm being honest. So I think I'm going to go ahead and make this an official trade setup live on stream For the 58 people here, thank you for 53 likes. If you have not hit the like button already, and if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Did it break out of a descending triangle? Sure. Oh, I think this is the one we were talking about. Kind of looks like a dragon. So we just tried it like this. Yeah, it looks like a dragon to me. I'm making a trade set up live on stream, guys. Pay attention if you want to. This is a trade set up in the making. I'm showing you guys what I do before I post something on Twitter as an official trade setup. So you're getting this exclusively. This is not on Twitter yet. If you're here, you get the live view of it before the market even opens tomorrow. Shout out to Guy in Hat for recommending this in the chat. He's had some great recommendations. This is called a dragon pattern, where you have a double bottom with a supply line. An example of this dragon pattern is GoCo. You had a double bottom. You had a double, oh, I did not mean to do that. All right, you had this double bottom with a supply line. And if you were not here last week, this was a 10 or a 12% profit that we made last week on GoCo. It was like literally 5 cents away from being stopped out on I think it was Wednesday, but it did not get stopped out. Super close, but just made it. And 12% profit. If it can get back above 13.62, next target would be like 15 bucks. But yeah, back to Wendy's, if I can find it. This is the dragon, the same thing we just saw in the previous chart. Double bottom, trying to break out of this supply line. I wouldn't say it's there just yet. It's just, you know, it's messing around with that supply line. You really want to get back above it. And how would you manage your risk on something like this? Let's show that as well. I'd say entry would just be like right here. And then your stop loss, probably like 20.94. That could be your stop loss. And then your target would just be a retest of right here. So that's like 2.5 reward to risk, not the best reward to risk. So let's make a second target on Wendy's. We're going to use Fibonacci from the highest point to the lowest point. And the target would be your 1618. So I'm going to use the long position tool. Open is pretty much right here. Stop loss like $20.95, and then the target would be the 1618. That would be a 22% target. And again, this is on the daily, so it could take months to play out. But here you have a 2.5 reward to risk. So let's label that 2.5 R/R. Okay, let's copy and paste that. And then over here you have a 4 reward to risk if you take like the long-term option. So again, 2.5 reward to risk on like a midterm type play, and then 4 reward to risk on a long-term play. You always want to plan out your entry point, your stop loss, and your targets before buying something. Because when you do that, there's no way you can be surprised. And once you get surprised in trading, it triggers an emotional reaction which can make you lose money. As long as you cannot be surprised and you plan ahead for literally any situation, whether it be stopping yourself out or taking profit, you will be much better in terms of actually hitting the sell button, whether that be for a stop loss or for taking profit. This is Wendy's dragon pattern with daily classic bullish divergence and 4-hour classic bullish divergence. Midterm trade, your target would be all like $24.85, and then long-term play, your target would be like $27. Currently it's at 22, which is pretty much the entry, and then the stop loss is like $20.90, something like that. Again, the stop loss is pretty much subjective, just depends on your risk tolerance. But I would probably say do not place your stop loss at $21.41, because that is a support and it could bounce off of it like it just did 2 times in a row. That's why the stop loss is under it by a few percent. So for the 56 people in here, that was great for education and great for a new trade setup. So shout out to Guy in Hat. This is Wendy's trade setup, the dragon pattern. Looks pretty good in my opinion. And again, you know, the real thing that you're really looking for on trades and stuff is you want, what is it called? You want to have a very clear risk management. You want to be able to know where you don't want to mess with it, and that for this would be like under $20.91. And honestly, for the long-term trade, you'd probably lower that to like $20.70, just because your 200-day moving average is currently at $20.82. So for your long-term trade, you'd actually probably put that a little bit under your 200-day moving average. But that is Wendy's. Kay says, does it look like a Head and Shoulders on the daily? I just went to the weekly. No, it doesn't, because, so I get what you're saying, like the shoulder right here, the head and the right shoulder, but the issue is your head and your right shoulder are pretty close to each other, but the left shoulder would have been over here, and then basically that would just mess up your neckline, because then you had this whole entire gray area right here. So I would say it would be a Head and Shoulders if you had a shoulder right here, right? If the shoulder was right here, it would be a Head and Shoulders, but your shoulder that I think you're talking about is like right there, which is just kind of too far. It's just like a different pattern. That was kind of like a double top that sent it down to like 20 bucks. So I feel like that, you know, I spent a lot of time on this one because it was me making a trade setup, and then two, for educational purposes. So that is Wendy. We could take a look at DGLY. If I go back to last week's trades, DGLY was not once but twice a day trade that I put out. The first time it was 18% profit, and the second time it was 11% profit. So that was great. We're going to go back to DGLY, see what's up with it now, and let's take a look at that. Keep hitting that like button. We need 3 more people so we can get to 60 likes. We're just preparing for the week ahead, looking through charts to find things like this. And so yeah, the 2 new trade setups that we revealed exclusively on stream until I posted tomorrow was NLS. We go to the 4-hour NLS, classic bullish divergence at a support line, and then Wendy's classic bullish divergence with the dragon pattern. So those are 2 new trades I showed you guys on stream. Now we're going to take a look at DGLY, which was something we day traded last week 2 times to make over 10% profit. Great trade. Probably just going to clear. Actually, I'll leave it on for now. Again, you knew the entry point, and you knew where, you know, the general area where you should be selling at. So I'm going to delete that. There's like a pennant on the daily. So still looks fine. You broke out of the pennant, you kind of back tested it, and you're just trying to hold above 258. The thing that's super simple, and the reason why I was able to put out 2 10% plus day trades on this, is because once you get above 258, like for real, and you hold it for a couple hours, for some reason it likes just going to like 290 after that. You saw that right here, you saw it right here, you went way higher, and then you saw it like on December 8th and on December 9th. So if you can hold 258 again, you could see another move up to 290. I'm not even joking. But if you fall under 258, which is literally 2 cents away, your next support is like $2.40. So that's DGLY. I don't know. It's currently 2 for 2 on the day trades. I don't know if I want to push the luck and put out another one this week, but I'll just, I'll see how it goes. What is up in Arista? We could take a look at Apple, which is like a long-term trade setup that I put out. It actually hit the first, my words tonight, I can't speak, okay? Apple actually hit the first target, it hit the short-term target. This is something that I posted, or I actually revealed it on stream at $116, and it hit the short-term target for 8% and went to 125 pretty much. Hit the target and then pulled back. That's why you have targets. You put a target at a resistance area because there's a high probability that after it hits that, it could pull back, and that's what happened. So Apple posted at 116, 8% short-term target was achieved, and now it's pulling back. The long-term trade, you're literally going for $137. Personally, I took my profits on Apple, but if you want to play the long-term trade, what you're basically hoping for is a break over 125, and that could send you to 138. So if Apple can get above 125, maybe backtest it as support, then great. But yeah, there's just not too much has changed. You had the triple bullish convergence. Take a look at the 4-hour, not much of an edge. So kind of looks neutral in the short term. I think the long term still does look bullish, but in the short term it does kind of look like neutral to me. I think it'll just depend on how the market does. So we shall see. That is Apple. What else we got in here? Can I take a look at AMCI? That had a really nice day. I forget which day it was last week exactly. It had like a 1-hour like falling wedge or something. Yeah, I actually posted this on Twitter when it was like $12 just because somebody asked me about it. I showed how it broke out of the falling wedge. I didn't even know, or I didn't even think it would go to $14.50 like that, but it, you know, it filled the gap to $13. It broke the $13.58 resistance and it went to like $14.60. So in terms of like the current price, it's just trying to hold $13.58, which was like your previous resistance from right here. If you can hold that, your next resistance is $14.60. If you fall under that, your next support is $12.96. Don't want to overcomplicate it. There isn't much data on the chart, and already had a nice like 45% run. So I don't know. I feel like you kind of have this upsloping pattern, I guess. Let's see how this looks. Let's try and chart it up like this. I'm gonna try and make it as perfect as possible. No, it doesn't line up like a parallel channel, so we're just gonna do it manually. This is really nothing perfect, okay? Oh, why did I click on that? Maybe it's like in the beginning stages of a rising wedge on the 1-hour. Basically the price is going up and it's starting to consolidate just a little bit. And if it ever breaks to the downside, take caution. But again, it's kind of early on, so not too sure. Not a major edge in terms of the technicals on AMCI currently. Zoom could be interesting again. I don't know. It kind of broke this upsloping support line. I don't know. I'm not too there's just nothing major on the chart. There's no major pattern. There's no divergence on the 4-hour. There's no divergence on the daily. So yeah, just not much of an edge on the chart. So if the market rallies, Zoom will probably go alongside it. If the market falls, same thing there. Or you might get a rotation where you know, with the vaccine, retail stocks and stuff like that might go up, and then stay-at-home stocks like Zoom might actually fall, just because with the vaccine would imply that life could potentially go back to normal within the next few months. But again, we're gonna have to see what happens there. So I don't know. This is like a 50-50 in terms of technicals. I guess you could look at it like this. Like that. Even that's a neutral pattern, so not much of an edge in terms of technicals on Zoom in my opinion. We can take a look at PayPal. It's trying to break out. It had like a double bottom at like 175. And now it's trying to break out. It's trying to break over 215, but really it would need to break over like 220 for confirmation. You ever break 220, and you could probably just use Fibonacci to target it. So your 1618 after that would be $240. yeah, it was just kind of in this range. There you go. The yellow lines were like the range on PayPal, and it's trying to break out of it. So either it breaks out here, and if it could break 220, you could see 240, or it you know, it can't break this resistance, and then your next major support would be like 171. But again, just because you don't break a resistance does not mean you're going to go all the way back down. You could always do something like this, right? Let's say it can't break this resistance, it could always just fall like halfway back down and then try and break out. So I don't know, trying to break out. You don't know what's going to happen on PayPal. There is no way to know, but again, you can react to it. If it breaks over 220, good probability of seeing 240 next. If it can't break 220, you're talking just about lower levels. Not too sure how low, but you just take it as it go. You just take it as it goes. I don't know. I guess I'm not fully back in the work mood yet. Been pretty much relaxing this weekend, so I'm not super on tonight, I guess. Just kind of trying to get back into the swing of things. Haven't streamed since Thursday night as well, so you know, taking a few days off from streaming, it definitely takes like that one day to get back on like the speaking. Again, I can't speak. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you guys know exactly what I'm saying. I just can't portray it in words because of exactly what I'm saying. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope it did. I'm just trying to basically say it usually takes me after a weekend, it takes me like a day to get back into streaming like correctly. And again, that didn't make sense, which just goes to show my point. All right, I'm just gonna shut up. Just making myself look stupid right now. It's all good. Hopefully somebody here understood exactly what I was just talking about. BC can never talk right. Usually, like, again, after that first day, like tomorrow, I'll probably be on point tomorrow. Hopefully. Good luck with the finals. Thank you, Rooster. Appreciate it. Is that a bullfrog on space? Do you mean like bull flag? With a 4-hour hidden bullish divergence. Let's take a look. I don't see any 4-hour hidden bullish divergence on space, and I do not see a bull flag. But in terms of space, it broke over 2757, broke the 1618, and your 2618 is like 3656. This is really just a 50-50. There's no support or resistance here. There's no divergence, and there's no pattern. Like, this is as 50-50 as it gets on space. Literally a 50% chance of seeing $36 next, and a 50% chance of seeing like 27 next. Like, really, like, this right now would just be like gambling, right? And I'm not trying to say it in a rude way. I'm just trying to just like for educational purposes. Don't take that the wrong way. That's just kind of how I talk sometimes. But that is space. Yeah, I did see the bad news, like something with like a failed like flight test or something. I don't know, let me know. Pennant? Okay, I mean, I don't really see a pennant on the 4-hour, but you probably would have one on the 1-hour. Yeah, absolutely, you're correct about that. You do have a pennant on the 1-hour, which again just makes it even more neutral, right? So currently just as neutral as it gets on space. Really could go either way. Keep an eye on IPOD. They named 2 new fintech people as board members. Is that real? Because I know, forget his name, but the guy who is making IPOB, IPOC, IPOD, he put out like another thing where like he's trying to find people to work with him and make like a trading team or something. I think his name is like Chamath or something like that. He's like an Indian guy, and I think he's like a billionaire or something. Doesn't he like work with like Virgin Galactic or something? And he and I think he invested in like Bitcoin early. I've been trying. I need to read up about him. He's a pretty interesting dude. But he is behind like IPOB, IPOC, and IPOD. So yeah, I think it's really cool how he's actually being one of the only like corporate business people to like actually you know, give random people on the internet a chance, which I think is dope. Former Facebook executive. Oh yeah, he was in the what's it called? He's in the, what was that thing called? The Social Dilemma? Wasn't he in that? There was like a Netflix documentary. Let me see if he was in that. It was called The Social Dilemma on Netflix, and it was about like how social media is crazy. I feel like he was in that, talking on behalf of Facebook as an ex-employee. Yeah, he was. Yep, he was in that. So I was correct. He did the space back as well, so yeah. Pretty interesting guy for sure. But that is space. Drop some more tickers in the chat. Oh, Rocket is another trade setup. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. Inverse head and shoulders. If you know technical analysis, this is like extremely obvious. Bullish conversions on the 4-hour and daily bullish conversions as well. Pretty much right at the entry point of the trade. The stop loss I have is just like under where the previous right shoulder was. So my stop loss is currently like 1940. But again, it just depends on your risk tolerance. If you want to just put your stop loss right under $20, like $19.90 or something, go for it. But again, it could bounce off of that area as it did over here and kind of over here. So it has the variables, just waiting on demand to come in. Jay says, yeah, he was always talking about the downside of socials. I'm probably going to read up on him. I always like, you know, reading up on successful people, trying to get there myself one day. I do know a lot of, you know, I've read about Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Bezos, all the big billionaire guys. I pretty much know like their whole entire life stories. I was like really interested in reading about that as a teenager. But yeah, drop some more tickers. We'll look through a few more and probably call it after that. ALXN. I feel like that chart doesn't have much data on it. We can take a look. Oh, it does have quite a bit. Never mind. Actually, that's a lot. Kind of in this range again. So this is a range that is 4 years old, between $100 and $150. So obviously, kind of in the middle. So kind of neutral. No divergence on the daily. And let's take a look here. Hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour actually, where from this low to this low you made a higher low, but on your MACD you made a lower low. And that is actually confirmed because your MACD did cross over and you have 2 green wicks on the 4-hour. So you do have hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour, implying price continuation to the upside. Another resistance would be like $128. And then maybe you could create like a demand line, something like that. Maybe it's like an ascending triangle, ALXN, which is a bullish continuation pattern. So you have hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour MACD and on the RSI. And it's in a bullish continuation pattern. So 4-hour hidden bullish divergence implies price continuation to the upside. And an ascending triangle is a bullish continuation pattern. So what this chart is implying is a continue of this uptrend. I like the 3 different higher lows. This is kind of like a 3 rising valleys pattern, if I'm being honest. Let's take a look at it. 3 rising valleys also implies price continuation to the upside. So there is a lot of things on this chart that are saying it's going to keep on going up. Just eyeing it. So you have 3 different lows that were higher lows. And then let's see if you have 3 different higher highs. Don't mean to do that. Okay, I might have to zoom in to check, I guess. But regardless, it's probably close enough. Let's see if you made a higher high. No, you kind of made the same high, like to the cent. What was your high right here? 128.44. 128.41. Yeah, you made the same exact high. So I guess 3 rising values, pretty much close enough. Yeah, everything on this chart on the 4 hours implying a move to $128 next. So if the technical analysis does play out, and I would say it has like a 70% probability of ALXN going to $128 within the next month, or shorter, obviously. I'm just saying, like, by the latest. It looks good. 3 rising values, hidden bullish divergence, ascending triangle in the lower half of a range. Good stuff here on ALXN. Rooster says the only ALXN technical necessary is the $175 buyout price. Don't know what that means. Explain a little bit further if you can. Jesse Fisker was like the first thing I went over. You could just scroll back all the way to the beginning and you could probably find it. Otherwise, I post all the timestamps in the comments after the stream finishes. Can I check out Tesla? Sure. Keep hitting that like button. We need 3 more likes to hit 70 likes. And if you're not subscribed already, you definitely should be. If you want to send me a tip, it is the pinned comment in the chat. ALXN, I'm probably just going to keep this on my watch list. Amazon is buying them out. Oh my gosh. I mean, we've seen companies like double in price with Amazon buying news. So I'm interested to see how that will perform tomorrow. I'm going to keep it on my watch list. Even the technicals look good, so that could be easily set up for higher prices. Again, like how we saw on Fisker when, let's go back up. I'm going to come to Tesla in a second. Okay, on Fisker, when it was at the PCZ of the bullish butterfly, 2 days later it had the merger vote. The best thing for a stock is when the technicals and the fundamental catalysts line up. That is what could literally send it to the moon. That's what happened on Fisker. It doubled in price and higher. But yeah, Tesla, ascending triangle. I've been talking about Tesla since it was at the demand line at $400. I showed it on the stream. I said if there was a place to maybe enter Tesla, even though it had a crazy run, it created another higher low, and I talked about it right there, and it went. I had no clue it would go all the way up to $650, but it did. It pretty much hit every single fib extension and then reversed at the 4236 kind of. But again, Tesla is super simple. Your resistance is just a new all-time high. So your resistance would be like 655, and then your support is 600. So you want to hold 600. If you don't hold 600, your next support is like 542. So you want to hold $600 on Tesla. Literally, that's it. Not much else here. Pretty much all it's done this year is go up, right? So I don't know. It just keeps on going up. You just want to, again, stay above 600, because I mean, it could still make a higher low, could come down to like 514, and then it could run again. Who knows? It's Tesla, right? Divergence on CPB, maybe. CPB, Campbell. Kind of, yeah. On the 4 hour, that's not like super clear though. But I get what you're saying, for sure. This kind of looks just like a ascending broadening wedge. Something like this. I don't know, it doesn't move too crazy either way. It did have a pretty nasty drop on earnings. Trying to hold over 46.61, that's your support that I'm looking at. Your next resistance is like $50, and then it's just like in this upsloping pattern kind of. That's your, demand line, that's your supply line, so not a major edge. I do get what you're saying by the 4-hour divergence though, where from this low to this low you made a lower low on the MACD, and you made a lower low on the RSI, but you made a higher low on price. So there is hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour. We'll see. Is that enough for it to, go back to the top of the range at $50? We'll see. It's not too far away. This is not like a super volatile stock regardless. We need one more person to hit that like button to hit 70 likes on the stream. So probably gonna be ending it up right here. If you have not hit that like button already, we just need one of you to hit that like button on your way out. So appreciate all the support. Everybody have a great week in the market. I will be live tomorrow night. But after tomorrow night, I'm going to be taking Tuesday and Wednesday off because I have finals. Thank you for 70 likes. We just hit it. But yeah, it's going to do it for tonight. Like an hour and a half of getting ready for the week ahead. Futures are up about 0.5% on the S&P, so that's not bad. And have a great week. Trade safely. I'll see you tomorrow night at 9 o'clock EST. We have an earlier stream time now. But yeah, that's going to do it. Peace out.
Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of June. Heat waves been faking me out. Can't make you happier now. Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of June. Heat waves been faking me out. Can't make you happier now. Usually I put something on TV, so we never think about you and me. But today I see our reflections clearly in Hollywood, laying on the screen. You just need a better life than this. You need something I can never give. Fake water all across the road. It's gone now, the night is come. But sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of June. Heat waves been faking me out. Can't make you happier now. You can't fight it, you can't breathe. You say something so loving, but now I gotta let you go. You'll be better off in someone new. I don't wanna be alone. You know it hurts me too. You look so broken when you cry. One more and then I say goodbye. Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of June. Heat waves been faking me out. Can't make you happier now. Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of June. Heat waves been faking me out. Can't make you happier now. I just wonder what you're dreaming of when you sleep and smile so comfortable. I just wish that I could give you that bad look that's perfectly unsaid. Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of June. Heat waves been faking me out. Heat waves been faking me out. Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of June.